Hi, hello, how are we? Hope we're all doing well. Today's video is going to be about eczema and psoriasis, both conditions that I suffer with from time to time. And the purpose of the video is really to just educate, share my experience if anyone relates. Hello. Um, and also just gather any tips if you guys out there suffer with similar things. Just pop some tips down in the comments so that we can all help one another. But I have my notebook here. I have it all written down in chronological order so that it all makes sense, my whole journey. Um, so yeah, let's get through it. Okay, so let's start off with eczema. So I've had eczema my whole life, and when I was younger, it would mostly show up on my legs. Well, no, a little bit on my legs, sorry, but mostly on my face. And the key triggers were pollen. So I'm a person that suffers from hay fever as well. So every spring, it would just flare up. I would just flare up on my face. The minute I would start itching my eyes, it would just make my skin worse. But it was really funny because whenever I'd go abroad, everything would disappear. The hay fever, the eczema, it was all gone. So when I was a child, I used to tell people at school that I was allergic to England because that's honestly what it felt like, and I kind of still believe that. Um, I would love to leave the country, you know what I mean? I just ran out of storage, so the angle may have slightly changed. I'm sorry, but I panicked. Anyways, as I was saying, so of course, I've tried all the emollients, all the steroids, tried going to dermatologists. I've been rejected by the NHS. Tried dermatologists abroad, couldn't do anything because, like I said, my eczema would disappear when I'd be abroad. So obviously, the dermatologist can't deal with something they can't see, they don't have access to, which makes sense. Um, so yeah, I just never got any further answers. I used steroids, but I got really lucky because I just didn't use them enough to get TSW. I feel like TSW isn't spoken about enough, and it is a rising issue for sure. Um, and I'm really lucky to not have used steroids enough in order to get it, and that is because my African dad still believes that eczema can be cured. Which obviously it cannot be. So when he realized that the steroids aren't working, he was like, "No, you're not using them anymore. What's the point? Like, it's just gonna damage your skin. Da 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 da. Like, it's not working." So I guess it worked out in my favor. Like his delusion worked out in my favor, which I'm grateful for. And also my mum noticed that my skin is becoming dependent on it, and it's never a good thing. You don't want your skin to become dependent on it. You want to strengthen your skin so that the issue occurs a lot less, if that makes sense. But yeah. Okay, so the last time I had a flare up was 2021, summer 2021. And I managed to go without a flare up for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years without a flare up. And I honestly thought I figured it out. Like, I cracked the secret. This was it. No more flare ups. Google was telling me you can grow out of eczema. I don't know if that's entirely true, but I also thought, oh, okay, I've grown out of it. I was like 18 when I had my last flare up. So I was like, okay, this is what it's like to be an adult, eczema free. Boy, was I wrong because I got hit with another flare up February 2025, so last year now. And I was so confused because this time I was in my final year of uni. It's February, it's winter, there's no pollen around. I was in Newcastle, mind you. So the north of England where the sun doesn't shine, it's cold all the time. Nothing was blossoming, blooming, whatever you call it. Absolutely nothing. So I was so confused. I was like, what is triggering my eczema? So I immediately go into panic mode. I'm like, no, 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 no. This can't be happening right now because summer is around the corner, and I had like so many like summer plans, and I was like, I don't need this flare up right now because I know it can take months for it to like fully heal, you know? And I get hypopigmentation after my flare up as well. So that's another extra, however many weeks and months of that to clear up. But I'll get into the hypopigmentation a little bit later. So I go into panic mode and I'm living with my flatmates. We're in a flat. Sorry, with my course mates in a flat. And we have a really shitty landlord, right? Like he's so bad. So bad. Everything like breaks, we call him, he doesn't fix it. Like it was a terrible flat to live in. And we had this really like bad washing machine. It would literally wash our clothes for 10 minutes in cold water. My capsules wouldn't even melt. So my initial thought was, okay, it must be the washing machine. It must be the months of basically not fully washed clothes, bedding, all of that. That's triggering my eczema, right? So I email the landlord. I literally I threatened him with a lawsuit. I backed out like receipts. I was like, under code this and this. It is illegal for blah blah blah. I'm gonna speak to my lawyers. I sent him photos of my flare up. I All of this was ChatGPT. Guys, I know nothing about the law. I'm not gonna lie to you. This was all ChatGPT. I was like, ChatGPT, do your thing. And it really did its thing. So 5 days later, we get a new washing machine. We get a new washing machine, and boy, was it good. It was super powerful. Like, but yeah, so that was quite funny. I can't believe I managed to do that. So that's what happened. I even refused to pay rent. I was like, until we don't get a new washing machine, I am not paying rent because this is affecting my health. And my flatmate, she's allergic to mold and dust, and she started to get like what's it called, a rash. So I used that to back my case. Oh my god, it was hectic. It was hectic, but I won the case. We got a new washing machine, and eventually I paid my rent. So I thought the washing machine would have, resolved everything. Nope, it did not resolve anything at all. My flare up was progressing, it was getting way worse, and it just wasn't going away. So April comes around. Um, April is my birthday month. It's my anniversary month. April is when my summer starts. Okay. So I was like, I need to get this off my face. And I'll insert photos of my flare up, what it looked like at the start and how it progressed, what it looked like by April and stuff as I'm talking. But yeah, so it just wasn't going away. So I went to the GP, and obviously the GP does the standard. Have you tried this steroid? Have you tried this emollient? Blah, 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 blah. Ugh, boring talk. I'm like, listen, I've been here, done that. You've got my record. You can see what I've been prescribed in the past. Cut the crap. Cut the crap. And I told them, I'm not using steroids. There's no way I'm leaving with a steroid today. There's a risk of TSW, and I do not want that. Okay. I don't want my skin to become dependent on steroids. So I was like, find me an alternative. Otherwise, I'm not going. So I was kind of standing my ground there. And they were looking at my face, inspecting it. And obviously, like, my neck got bad as well. This is when I found out the my flare up on my neck is actually psoriasis. And he said that what was on my face is rosacea, but I do not believe him because there's not enough representation of these skin conditions on colored skin. He showed me pictures of rosacea on Google, and I was like, that is not what my skin looks like right now. I'll even insert a photo. That's not what my face looked like. So I was like, do you know what? Whatever. Give me a solution. So, sorry, I just forgot to mention one thing because the doctor said it was rosacea, so and I didn't want to believe him because how can eczema turn into rosacea? Like my whole life, they were saying it's eczema, it's eczema. Now it's rosacea, and obviously on top of that, the psoriasis, and I I'm even more doubtful because when I went back in September, they were like, actually, it's dermatitis. So which one is it, mate? Do you know what I mean? God. But yeah, that's why it's a little bit of a struggle. So he gave me antibiotic cream. I made sure that you don't get withdrawals from it. So as far as I'm aware, you don't get withdrawals from antibiotic cream. Um, this is the antibiotic cream I got for my face, and this is the one that I got for my neck and my back. Um, who knows? Maybe you do get withdrawals from it. I hope not. Please, God, no. But, anyways, I used the antibiotic cream and it worked. The one on my face worked. It like everything, the redness, the inflammation went away. And I was eventually left with hypopigmentation, which is what that looks like. So it's basically when your skin lacks pigment. The pigment basically disappears, the melanin disappears from those area in which you flared up. So some people get hyperpigmentation, which is like the dark, your skin darkens, you get darker patches, but I get hypopigmentation, so I lose pigment afterwards. Um, and I decided to invest in an LED face mask, which apparently helps with that. So phototherapy, I think that's what it's called. Laser therapy, no, phototherapy, light therapy. Um, that's what it's called. So LED face mask, red light therapy. It literally within the next 4 weeks, I gained my pigment back and I was good to go on my holiday to the Philippines. Because the thing about hypopigmentation is it doesn't tan. So if you go outside, um, everything else but those areas will tan. And obviously, I wasn't like, I didn't look cute with it. It wasn't symmetrical and nice. I couldn't style it out at all. So I really had to keep my ass inside um, until it was fully healed. Um, but yeah, let me just peek in my notes. Oh, however, guys, there's a plot twist. So the antibiotic cream for my psoriasis did not work at all. Um, it made it worse. It was really weird because it made it spread down my back. Um, and I was so shocked. When that happened, I went back to uni, right? I was back at uni, back doing my course, finishing off my semester, as you do. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, guys, cut me some slack. Summer is around the corner. I want to be able to wear a bikini. Like, I don't I don't want this. I don't want this right now. So I decided to go private, right? I booked myself a private consultation. I spent £120 just for a consultation and then £10 for a steroid cream. So this is the moment where I gave in because they took like photos, they spoke to specialists at the clinic and stuff, and they were like, "You're gonna need the strongest steroid." And I was like, is there no other options? I told them, I was like, steroids is a no from me. And they were like, there's literally no other options unless you want to pay £500 to go to a dermatologist and see what's causing this. And I was like, well, I don't have £500 spare. So I had to, firm it, get the steroids, and I only used them for 7 days, and within 7 days it all disappeared. So that was good, and I never used it again, and I'm not gonna use it again. And yeah, if it ever comes back, it is what it is, because I have a big fear of TSW, and I just don't want it. I just don't want it. And the thing is, with the NHS, it's like you can't even get an allergy test done. You can't go to a dermatologist unless you basically come in with TSW. So not until you're like on your deathbed, basically, sort of essentially. Well, it's not the greatest comparison, but do you know what I mean? It's like not until the very last minute they say that you qualify to go see a dermatologist, if that makes sense. That was not grammatically correct. That sentence didn't really make sense. But what I'm trying to say is basically, I don't qualify to go see a dermatologist or get an allergy test because I am not covered in eczema and psoriasis from head to toe, is what I'm trying to say, okay? Which I think is really messed up. But that's why I have beef with the NHS. God, this is going to be a really long video, guys. It's like a little podcast. Hopefully you have the patience to listen to all of this and I'm not boring you too much. But yeah, so I managed to clear my skin it just in time for literally my first trip of the summer was the Philippines. So and I had graduation after the Philippines. Like, guys, I needed to, you know, I needed it all to be clear. So the sun really helped when I was in the Philippines. The sun really helped. The sea. I've seen a lot of people do like ocean therapy and stuff. Obviously, I live in the UK and I would never step foot into the UK sea. I think it's dirty. Ugh. Mm-mm. It just doesn't look appealing to me. If the water isn't clear, I don't want to go in it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really do ocean therapy here in the UK. But yeah, and there's not a lot of sun because the sun actually helps. It helps, that vitamin D, of course, wear SPF, all of that. But it does help. And I live in a very dull, rainy country. So, it just sucks. It sucks to be me sometimes. Um, that's why I gotta book myself these holidays. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so fast forward to September 2025. So I had a presentation to do in Venice, architecture related, and I was stressed. Um, I have a separate YouTube video about that if you want to go check it out. I was stressed, so obviously I flare up again, but also just the post grad life got to me as well because I didn't get a job straight after uni. So I'm currently unemployed. September, I'm unemployed, depressed, and I'm like, oh my god, like, what am I gonna do with my life? Everything is just, everything just sucks. That was my mentality, right? So I'm stressed, I flare up again, I go to the GP, they tell me, oh, that was when I was like, I need dermatologist right now because I'm sick of these flare ups. And that's when they told me that I don't qualify. And I was like, you're having me on. So I came back. I was ranting to my boyfriend. I was like, I hate NHS. I hate my life. I hate the world. Yeah. So I was like, I was like going through it, because I'm like, what the heck? Like, how does it even make sense? Do you know what I mean? How does that even make sense? It doesn't make sense. Like, I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. I know the struggles they're going through, but I'm not going to get political on this channel because that's not what this channel is for. But yeah, so they were like, we can prescribe you the antibiotic cream again. But I was like, no, I don't want, like, I just have a thing about medication where I don't want my body to be reliant on it. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Do you see my logic? I just want to keep strengthening myself, okay? I don't want to be dependent on all these medications until I'm like I become immune to it and it doesn't work. Because what am I gonna do then? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like, no. So I left there. I nearly cried actually. I was so emotional. I was like, I can't believe they don't want to help me. Um, but I finally found the regime that helps me because, it's January 2026 now. This is what my face looks like at the moment. I still have some hypopigmentation, but you can't really see it because of the lighting and stuff. Um, but I'm healing. I'm still healing from that flare up that started in September. It is a process, unfortunately. You have to be patient, and I think I've reached this point where I'm just like, it is what it is. Like, I just go out as usual because it is a very humbling experience. It makes you very self-conscious, especially how it's like on your face. And like, my part-time job at uni was a beauty specialist, so I did like makeup and stuff. So working in that environment doesn't help because you want to be the best representation of all the beauty products. Do you know what I mean? So you don't want to look like that. Like, it's just not ideal. But yeah, I'm just at this point where it's like I can't be bothered. It is what it is. What am I supposed to do? So I might as well be confident with it and be like, yeah, I do have eczema and what? Like, I can't take it away. I wish I could, but I can't. So oh, maybe one day someone will find a cure for it. And the worst thing about this is that it is genetic. So God bless my kids. I hope they get their dad's genetics, not mine. That was a cheeky comment. Okay, let's wrap this up now because I've been rambling on for so long. So let me look at me outro notes. Yeah, so this video is just basically context and general information, a bit of a story time for you. And I will be doing like more videos on like skincare routine, morning, nighttime, what worked for me in the past that stopped working. Because, skincare is a very complex thing, but I'm not going to get into this right now. I'll do, like I said, I'll do a separate video. So I will get into all the skincare stuff, what you should look out for, what you should avoid, everything from A to Z. I'll try to be an encyclopedia of information for everyone that also suffers with eczema and psoriasis. And yeah, I'll also cover like supplements. Oh my days, there is no way that my lighting just died. What the heck, guys? If it's not my storage, it's my lighting. This is so embarrassing, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm literally using my lamp now. But what was I saying? Yeah, I'll be talking about supplements and basically what the skin needs. So I do want to do a deeper scientific dive into like the skin and stuff, because it is way deeper than just what you apply to the surface of your body. So if you have any questions, concerns, or anything that you want me to cover, drop it down below in the comments and I'll try my best to cover it in the next coming videos. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this sort of contextual video. It gives you an idea of like my journey, my experience. Obviously there's more to it, but we'd be sat here forever. That's why I'm gonna break it down into multiple videos. Anything else I need to say in regards to this? I don't know. I don't think so. No, this was just a little hi, hello, I have eczema, and this is what it's about. So, yeah, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And peace out, guys. I am going to watch Love Island and eat some cake. So, bye.